Thank you, Admiral McCain. General Petraeus, thank you for appearing in front of the committee today. And I think you can see from the attendance at this committee today that your opinions and your thoughts are very highly valued. So thank you for sharing with us today your thoughts. I would like to go back to the Kurds a little bit. I think we've talked a lot about it, and everybody's asked questions, but maybe not in all manners. So the Kurds have been a great ally to us, and I've heard that from many of the men and women that have served in that region. They've been a great partner for 25 years or so, and they have a healthy respect for the rule of law. They've been very helpful with a number of minorities, ethnic minorities, religious minorities. And what can we do to better provide support for the Kurdish regional government, the Kurdish Peshmerga? I believe we need to double down in this effort, regardless of whether they may push beyond their regional boundaries, but they do provide an area, whether we can engage them in shaping operations, whether it is to provide an area for us to base. Can you give us some thoughts, the advantages and risks?
I can. The fact is we are based there. As you know, we have headquarters, we have operational headquarters. We have very close relationships in both my military and intel lives. We were very, very closely linked. I think the single biggest issues are the provision of weapons and other supplies to streamline that. You know, I've said we have to support Prime Minister Abadi. We need to strengthen him. That means we can't bypass him on these issues, but we need to figure out how to get this so that ideally it doesn't have to touch down in Baghdad. It can go directly to them. Some coalition members are doing that, I think actually with our tacit approval, if not applause. I think that's the single biggest step that we could take, and to look very carefully at what it is we're providing them. There are some additional items. Again, I happened to be there for a conference in Suleimaniya back in the earlier part of this year and had a lot of people come and plead that particular case. The other is to determine, you know, the KRG, the Kurdish Regional Government, is in very, very difficult financial times right now because of the price of oil going down by 55%. It's not only reduced what they get, but it's reduced the amount from which the 17% that they get from the central government is. And so they're having a very difficult time. They're supporting hundreds of thousands of refugees on their soil. Anybody who goes up there and flies over this will see a camp every few kilometers. And indeed, they're fighting a war. And again, if we could provide additional assistance to them that would be of support, I think that would be very valuable also. We have very much enabled them. We helped them hold off. Had it not been for decisive action, actually, at a critical moment last year, it's very possible that the Islamic State might have gotten closer to the capital of Erbil. That held that off and then has really retaken most of the area around the Kurdish Regional Government. And candidly, there are no more disputed internal boundary areas in Iraq. They are generally controlled by the Kurdish Regional Government as a result of the operations that have taken place with our support.
Very good. And I appreciate those thoughts very much. I would tend to agree. I would love to see more assistance going to the KRG, of course, in consultation with the Iraqi government. I applaud you on that as well. If we could turn to Turkey just very briefly. We've talked a little bit about the fact that they have mobilized, and unfortunately what we have seen is that through their mobilization of resources, whether it's political, military, instead of really pushing back against ISIS, we see there's been a turn to mobilize against PKK. And what do you see the impact is to those coalition forces, the anti-ISIS coalition forces, and what are the greater implications of that and thoughts maybe from some of those coalition members?
I don't know that this has a huge effect on U.S. or coalition forces. They're not being diverted to assist. There's a certain slight degree of support that we have provided in the past in the intelligence realm that I don't imagine has changed a great deal. What I think is very significant is what's happening within Turkey as a result of this. The sheer escalation of the violence, a situation that was relatively calm and seemed to be heading toward one in which there was greater and greater reconciliation between the government in Ankara and the sizable part of their population in Turkey that is Kurdish, with the allowance of meeting certain desires of that Kurdish population. And all of a sudden, the wheels have come off the bus. And whether this is connected with a future election in Turkey or something else, it is very distressing to see because, again, the violence on both sides now has escalated very, very rapidly and quite considerably.
Great. Thank you. My time has expired. Thank you, General. Thank you, Admiral.